This comment is coming from ComplexSimplicT. I know I totally jacked that up. I definitely apologize. She really has a statement as well. She says, "Thank you so much for this. I have registered to take part in a spoken word event. I've never done one before, but have needed an outlet for so long. Your tips have sparked something in me. I think I found a direction I want to go, and that I want to go for my piece." Well, Complex, let me say this. This is your first time ever performing a spoken word in front of people, audience. They're going to be coughing over here. They may have a baby crying over there. They may have people in the back just chit-chatting. You know what I'm saying? And those are some distracting things. You know what I'm saying? Any one of these things can throw you off, especially if you're going to attempt to memorize it, okay? Excuse me. I have a video that speaks about doing suicides. And if you know sports, you know suicides is when it's a running event where you run from one line to the next line, then back to the first line. Then you run to the second line, back to the first line. You run to the third line, back to the first line. You run to the fourth line, back to the first line. You run to the fifth. And that's the same thing I do to teach myself how to memorize it. I do the first stanza, go back to the beginning. I do the second stanza, go back to the beginning. I do the third stanza, I go back to the beginning. I do the fourth stanza, I go back to the beginning. I keep on doing this until I feel enough confidence to do it without looking at the sheet. Okay? Now, once I do not have the sheet, okay, once I'm just doing it off of memory, and I may stutter, I may forget a line, but I'm trying to do it consistently on memory, and it all starts with the suicide, doing one, going back, doing the second stanza, going back, doing third stanza, going back, however many stanzas you have, and going back to the beginning. And once again, once I have that down pat, once I can do it without looking at the sheet, it is my goal to recite this poem 25 times in a row without messing up. So, for example, I can get far as to the 8th stanza and mess up on the last line, okay? And I could be on number 24. If I mess up on that last line, I'm going to start back from 1 for the first stanza and try to do the whole entire poem again without messing up. So I do the whole entire poem without messing up, that's 1. I do the whole entire poem without messing up, that's 2. I do the whole entire poem without messing up, that's 3. I do the whole entire poem without messing up, that's 4. I do the whole entire poem without messing up, that's 5. I do that 25 times in a row. And if I mess up on that 25th time, I start back from 1. It's discipline. It's discipline. Not everybody can do it. Now, I have cultivated this so much that I'm so focused. Once I get in front of that audience, and it doesn't matter if it's the Apollo, it doesn't matter if it's a church audience. Once I get into that audience, I own them. You hear me? I own them. There's no one that's going to be talking while I'm talking. There's no one that could be chit-chatting while I'm chit-chatting, because what I have to say is important. And I know that what I have to say is important. So as soon as I grab the mic, I'm not fidgeting. It's not doing any reverb. It's not sitting. I grab the mic. I don't give no introduction. I don't say, "Hey, my name is Incomplete." I don't got time for all that. You know what I'm saying? I got a short window to get your attention. And once I get your attention, I'm not going to give it back to you until I'm done with your attention. You know what I'm saying? You have to demand their authority. I go to a lot of poetry shows, and I didn't mean to rant. I really didn't. I go to a lot of poetry shows that's supposed to be like these top-notch poetry shows, and there's people there with their paper, people there with their little poetry pods reading it. Listen, forgive me, I don't mean to step on no toes, but I ain't come to see you practice. Or why you got a paper, or why you reading it. I ain't come to see you practice. You had all week to practice. You knew you was performing 2 months ago. You had 2 months to practice. Why am I watching you practice? I mean, that's my pet peeve. If you're going to hold this craft, if you're going to, take your craft to the next level, invest in your craft. You know what I'm saying? Invest the time that you need to take your poetry to the next level, to take your spoken word to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Now I can understand if people say, well, I'm not good with memorization. Cool. Cool. You're not good with memorization. But when you perform, it better be an Obama Academy Award winning performance. You shouldn't be stuttering. Why are you stuttering? You got the paper. Or why are you fumbling over your words? You got the paper. Goes back to my first point. Why am I sitting here listening to you practice? I sound like Allen Iverson. Practice. I don't want to be sitting. Lord Jesus, don't let me pay money. Don't let me come out my pocket, $40, 20 for me, 20 for my wife, because you want to sit here and practice. And then because the first thing I'm doing, I'm going to the producer, or I'm going to the person who did the poetry show, and I'm telling them, like, you know, because in my community they know me. They're like, you know, hey, Incomplete, did you like it? It was whack. Why am I watching people practice? Why you got me out here? You know what I'm saying? And then you call me out, hey, it's Incomplete in the house. I don't want to be associated with this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I apologize. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? Let me see a doctor go in the operating room with a manual. Nuh-uh. It's over. I want another doctor. You know what I'm saying? And let me see my mechanic. All right. So, no, I'm done. So why do I have to sit here and watch you read? And then listen to you fumble over words and you got the paper in your hand. What, for real? Seriously, where they do that at? Invest in your craft, okay? Made me forget where I was, man, these people around here. Alright, so that was for ComplexSimplicT, saying that she never done it before. And basically what I was doing was just telling you how to do suicides, how to enhance your ability to really capture the audience. Now, I also mentioned to Complex that you have to rehearse. You have to rehearse. You have to rehearse. Rehearsing is very important. Okay, because when you do rehearse, basically what you're giving yourself an opportunity to do, you're giving yourself an opportunity to put your own swag to it. You know what I'm saying? Because please believe it, whenever you touch that mic and you're doing, and you're doing a poem, you're doing poetry, you're doing a spoken word, whatever you're doing, it's a performance. You know what I'm saying? Everything of your fiber, every part of your being is conveying this poem. You know what I'm saying? So if you playing with your fingers and you doing your poem, that tells me that you're not even confident in what you're saying. Well, tomorrow we go. No. Either hold the mic or keep your hands off the mic. Keep your hands in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to do anything that's going to distract from what they're hearing. You know what I'm saying? If you doing all this, somebody like, okay, they're not even confident, and that's when you start hearing the chitter chatter. Because you're not confident in what you're saying. So when you rehearse, and even, you know, I know I went on a rant, but even if you're not going to memorize it, rehearse reading it. Rehearse reading it. You should not be fumbling over words if you got the paper in your hand. Have more respect for your gift. Have more respect with a K. Have more respect for what you're doing than just get up there and be like, well, today I'm going to do, no, you already know what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Already know what you're going to do. No matter where I go, whether Tennessee, Atlanta, Alabama, New Orleans, no matter where I go, anybody who invite me to just sit in, you know what I'm saying? And there's fees that comes with that, but, you know, we get to that whenever you call. You know what I'm saying? So if you just want me to come in and just give some type of accreditation to what you're doing, cool. But you already know my level of reverence. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you either in the contract or I'm going to tell you over the phone my level of reverence. You know? Well, these are kids. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Kids, you know, I have nothing but love for kids. If they're going to mess up, you know, cool. But if people are paying and you want me to walk through, and you want me to do something on the mic, everybody knows that when I come in, you know, whether you told me that you wanted me to perform or whether you need a filler, you know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that, you know, you just call incomplete. You just call in. I'm going to always have something ready. And you would never, ever hear me do the same poem twice. If I do a poem in January, I'm not going to duplicate that poem, none that year. And not, unless it's a special request. I'm not going to do, because I have too many poems to be. There's no way in the world that I'm going to invest in me, have all these individuals driving from wherever they drive from to hear me, and then when they come and sit down and pay their hard-earned money to hear me, they heard something that they already heard me do before. That's robbing you. That's robbing you. So I always do a new poem every time I do perform. You know what I'm saying? So rehearse, because I promise you, Complex, the more you rehearse, the more you feel more confident behind the mic. You know what I'm saying? If you got butterflies, I mean, if you got like, you know, even I get butterflies, you know what I'm saying? But it's not like butterflies like I'm afraid I'm going to do bad. It's butterflies like, man, I can't wait to get up there. You know what I'm saying? So when you have butterflies and it just causes you to be nauseous, that's because you're not ready. That's because you're not prepared. But when you rehearse, and also in one of my videos, I mentioned also that anybody can rehearse. Anybody can rehearse their poem 100 times, okay? But if you have a certain part that you always mess up on during those 100 times of rehearsing, guess what? When you get on stage to perform, you're going to mess up at that same spot, okay? So practice doesn't make perfect. A lot of people say, well, practice makes perfect. No. If you do it 100 times, you mess up on the same spot 100 times, it's not going to be like this marvelous thing's going to happen once you get on the mic and then everybody's looking at you and you're just going to shine. No. More than likely, where you messed up where you was rehearsing, where you messed up where you was practicing, is where you're going to mess up where you perform, okay? Only perfect practices makes perfect performances. Okay, so that's going back to the suicides. I start with one, go all the way through. I do it 25 times. If I mess up on that 25th time, I'm starting back over from one. Because perfect practices makes perfect performances. And that there is for Complex, you know. I definitely apologize for ranting. I'm just passionate about what I do, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been doing this for a long time, you know.